Hey again. In this video we're going to look at recreating some photos that I've taken over the years from the 70s on up and how I recreated them on the layout. They're not real great, but they're fun to do, and you better modelers may be able to give me some ideas on how to do things. First up is a 1992 photograph I took of the southbound coast starlight just north of Canby, Oregon. It had a SSW, St. Louis Southwestern, known as the Cotton Belt Jeep on the front of it, then an F40, and then the normal consist. Found this photo and thought, I've got a Cotton Belt Jeep. I think I can recreate this. So here's mine. The engine's probably in better shape than the one that came through Canby. I just put it on part of the layout, tucked my F40 behind it, a Starlight consist, and when you put the two together, back and forth, that's not too bad. I did a different version too, and that was just a test as it went outside Oregon City. So I found this neat picture of the Eugene, Oregon yard with one of those funky painted Alco rebuilds in the back, but it's the 7031, and I happen to have that one. I got it at a hobby shop in Pella, Alabama this summer, and I said, well, I'll try recreating that. I've got some of these tunnel motors, and so I put some of mine together in the Brooklyn Yard area and put 7031 in the back, and then a couple of Southern Pacific units. I don't have all the infrastructure there, but it's just something fun to do. Different version of it. Kind of hard to get the perspective right. One of my favorite photos is my son when he was about 3. I think this September of '96. We're down in Canby, and we got a picture of the northbound coast starlight. Filming off the computer is not great, and I apologize for that. But you see the front of our ever-present 95 Blazer, and I thought, I can probably recreate that. So the first one I did, put the right Amtrak unit in the right paint there. I got an N-scale child, and then I put our little N-scale Blazer in the front. I wasn't real happy with it, but it gave me an idea of what to do. So I played around and made some more, changing the position of the truck and the child N-scale figure. It's so hard to use an N-scale stuff, but this was a little bit better, kind of captures the idea, but I still wasn't real thrilled with it. So for this version, I bought an HO scale child, found it in a little set of people, and they had a little hot dog wagon and some people at a circus. So I painted the shirt to match what he was wearing at the same time and set up the engines. I moved the Dairy Queen around so that it was in the background to show kind of the video machine, or I'm sorry, the video land, and then put the Blazer in the front. And that's about as close as I get, except I forgot to power it up so the lights weren't on the headlight. So still learning. So that same day in September '96, I got a picture. We just called this the Rocks. It's a lot different in Canby now. They've done a lot different downtown. But this was just a parking lot and then gravel and then the UP right-of-way, or SP. So this one had a northbound SP freight, had the ditch lights on it, and he's sitting there quivering in anticipation. It's got video land in the back. It's not a great picture, but it was a nice day. So I figured I'll try to recreate it the best I can. That's actually a better version. I had put that other one on and sent it from the phone to the computer. This one's got the classic SP Jeeps coming up. Got the front of the Blazer, him in his little shorts and multicolored tank top. So I figured, well, I'll try to recreate this. So for a test, this is on the layout using the selfie mode as a photo. Put the Amtraks on there, coming northbound. Depot Museum. It's got the caboose. And then I put the figure, I moved the car around a couple different times, put my SP SD45 there, and then started playing around with the location of the telephone poles and stuff. Kept changing them around a little bit. Was fairly happy with it. Got the front of the truck, it's pretty close. And then I realized that no ditch lights on the old SDP. So changed the engines around, worked our way through, put on Videoland, put on a new GE. It's got the ditch lights, put it in the same location, put white cardboard behind just for a backdrop. Took it to some different ones, kept the pictures on there just for reference. One of my favorite photos with a couple of my favorite things here. Got my son there next to my 87 Monte Carlo SS, which is long gone, unfortunately. And then that SD45 in the back, the 8272, a tunnel motor. I said, I could probably recreate this. So I went down onto the mill area of the layout, put up the white cardboard, moved some buildings around, and took a couple of photos. The first photo I took used my existing SD45, but it just wasn't quite right because it wasn't speed lettered and the numbers weren't accurate. I had some of those cheap little non-powered GP60s that were speed lettered, and they looked okay behind it, but again, it wasn't the right kind of locomotive and it wasn't the right number. So I pulled out the old SD45, I dug around upstairs, and I had a model decal set for those kind of units, and I was able to find the right speed lettering. They happen to have in their number series 8272, so a quick repaint of the hood, just mixing white and black paint to get the right Southern Pacific gray, and poof, there we go. I put some lines down on the area, tried to move the building around to the left, tried to get the shadow of the building right. Had to use an HO or one of my Matchbox Hot Wheels Monte Carlo SS's, so this perspective isn't right, so I had to move it forward. But you kind of get the idea of taking that and then recreating with, didn't spend hardly anything. You can recreate that picture, just put in the backdrop, happen to have the right locomotive. The only thing I couldn't reproduce was the front door is open. It was a hot day, they were letting the air open, or had the windows open in the front window. I tried building a front door, I tried looking at some of those cheap units, cutting a door off, and it just didn't work. So that's about the big difference. But a lot of fun, and with hardly any expense at all, you recreate in 3D a really cool memory. Thanks for watching.